Hi, everybody. Robert Painley from Spirit Focus. Have some viewer questions today, so wanted to answer some of those. So I'm going to have my husband Mark ask a question today.
Okay, Robert. TS writes in and asks, what was it and when was it that you realized that you were going to go professional with your gift?
Okay. Um, it's actually interesting. Like I told everybody, I've been able to do this since I was 4 years old, as far as seeing spirit and working as a medium. Obviously, didn't work at 4 years old. But I turned off my gift for a long time, and it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I could actually feel comfortable a little bit with what I was doing. And it wasn't until I was, very early in my 40s, I was working professionally for a company, and I was walking by and heard a conversation in a cubicle with some people that were colleagues of mine, and overheard something that somebody felt that they had a ghost in their house. So I didn't interject right at that moment. I kind of walked on by and went to my office. And a few hours later, when this woman was free, I kind of went back to her cubicle and asked her whether or not, it was true what she said, and told her at that point that I could actually help her. And she was curious at first because I didn't let people know what I did publicly. I'd been doing readings for people and had been crossing spirits on my own for a long time, but it never really worked that way. And so she asked me if I could come by her house, and we said that we would go ahead and do it. And she was curious about what I could do. And quite frankly, I hadn't really done it professionally before, so I wasn't sure what to charge, what to do, what to ask, and all those questions. I just got spirit as I encountered them places that I went, not actually going to someone else's home or business. So I went to, we set up several appointments. She kept canceling them. She was afraid because every time that she would ask me to come, things started to ratchet up at her home. So eventually, after about 6 months of going back and forth trying to get into her home, I had a dream one night that I was actually going to her house. And I had a dream, and I saw a dark figure, and I saw four little girls laying on a bed playing with a Ouija board, and the name John came up. They all got scared, threw the game on the floor, and kind of went running out of the room. So I had that dream, and the next day I talked to my colleague, and I went over to her house, and I walked in and saw the one of the girls that was actually laying on the bed playing with the Ouija board. And I said, today is going to be an interesting day. And both of them were very nervous about me coming over, but I looked at my colleague and said, hey, you really have this entity in your home, and this is what it is, and we're going to work with it today, but this was brought forth by a Ouija board that your daughter was playing with. She got a little angry at her daughter and said, what are you doing with this board? I didn't know that you had it. And I said, so here's what happened. There were four of the girls. They were laying on the bed. They were playing with a Ouija board, and the name John came up. And they got scared, threw the board on the ground, and went running out of the room. And the daughter saw me at that point and said, that's what happened, and we were scared. And I said, well, this is what happened. And you brought this entity forth, and now we need to send him back. And I'm going to make you help me do this. So as I went through the house, I kind of felt things as I normally would. I felt they had a new swimming pool. They were the first owners of this home. There was a swimming pool there, and I felt death associated with the swimming pool. I also felt that there were curtains that would move in a certain way in this house. And also, they were giving me visions of of cat food being strewn about in the hallway. So I started to talk to them about these things that I were feeling and sensing in the house. And sure enough, one of their dogs had actually died in the pool. And they had two dogs, and one of them fell in and drowned, unfortunately. The cat food in the hallway was because the cat was hungry and the food bowl was at the other end of the hallway, and this cat would see this entity, this John entity, and would get a mouthful of food, would run out there because the cat was hungry, grab a mouthful of food, turn around and take off back down the hallway. And that's why there was food, because it was dropping food as it was running back and forth to try and get food. The other parts of it, I felt a quilt in the house. The daughter said that she actually gotten rid of the Ouija board. I said, yeah, it's not really gone. I feel that this Ouija board is up in the attic. It's in your closet, but there's an attic. I feel an attic up there, and it's stuck up there, and that's actually where it was. I took the Ouija board, just as a side note, I took the Ouija board and I disposed of that later on. But the other aspects of it were actually, I think that the girl was attracted to this entity because it could move things. It would do things that she asked it to do. But then it started to get scary because then it was maybe doing things that she didn't want it to do and started to take control, and it was just a really difficult presence in this home. So I went in the bedroom. My colleague and her daughter were standing outside the room. I was standing inside the bedroom, looking back at the doorway where they were standing, and I saw this presence walk right up behind them. Saw a shadow figure with a hat on walk right behind them, and I knew that that was John. Told her daughter that you brought this here. I'm going to make you send it back. And then we had a crossing ceremony. And he was a bit difficult to get rid of, but it was a challenging experience. It was a great learning experience for me in this way, as far as doing it professionally. But they were protected. When I felt the curtain moving back and forth, that was her grandmother that was moving that back, letting them know that she was around and there is a protective energy in that household. So we got rid of this entity, and they really never had another problem in that house since then. And it was a great experience. We actually did part of the filming with them for a potential TV show, and hopefully that story will be told in greater detail at some point. But it is a lesson for people. If you don't know what you're doing, if there's a lesson out of today's experience, if you don't know what you're doing and playing with certain objects or spiritual things, how they can come back to haunt you, as it were, in some capacity. So just be careful what you bring into your house and what you're playing with in a spiritual fashion if you don't know what you're doing. And that's another story. Please follow me on my YouTube channel, and I look forward to answering any additional questions that you may have in future. Thank you.